Hi guys, welcome back to Elysian the Great. Let's talk about our bodies. Let's talk about me and you. Let's talk about all the girly, all the girly, all the girl. The song disappears. So anyway, how are you? I hope you're good. I hope your week is nice. Hope you had a lovely week full of lots and lots of blessings. So today we're talking about something very interesting, and there's a story behind it. Last week, when we did our video on the first trimester of pregnancy, a friend of mine asked me, could you kindly make a video on why we women happen to have very painful menstrual cramps? So I went and did my research and I found a condition called endometriosis. And the what? Endometriosis. So, what is endometriosis? Endometriosis is a condition in which the endometric tissue that forms in the uterus happens to form in other regions of the pelvic region. That could include the outside of the uterus, the bladder, the small intestines, and the ovaries and fallopian tubes. As a result, what happens is that when the uterine wall is supposed to shed and we're supposed to get our period, the endometric tissue that has formed in other regions in the pelvic region, like the bladder, the rectum, the small intestine, also sheds as a reaction to the estrogen and progesterone levels becoming low. So, uh, how come nobody has been talking about endometriosis? Because people don't know there's something like endometriosis. People just think we have painful periods and that's that. So, what causes the endometric tissue to move from the inside of the uterus to other pelvic areas? That is still a condition, that is still a question the medical practitioners are trying to find out. Nobody quite knows. What are the symptoms that a woman could have endometriosis? One, she'll have very painful menstrual periods. She'll have pain during sexual intercourse. She'll have pain during urination when she's on her period, and she'll even have pain when she's going for long calls because it affects the rectum and the bowel movements. And so these are the four major signs that will show a woman that she might have endometriosis. An extra one is that a woman could find herself being subfertile, like maybe infertile, not per se infertile, because you go and have a checkup, the doctor says you're fertile, but for some reason you're not getting pregnant. It could be as a result of endometriosis. So now that you know the symptoms of endometriosis and you know what endometriosis is, so how is endometriosis diagnosed in a hospital? When you go to see your gynecologist, if he suspects you have endometriosis, he will demand for a blood scan, a blood test. The blood test is to rule out conditions like anemia and to check on your blood counts. Then there'll be an abdominal transvaginal scan. The transvaginal scan is to tell if there are any abnormalities in your pelvic region. Your your what? Your vagina, your cervix, and your uterus, that and the walls that surround the transvaginal scan will tell that. After that, you'll have an MRI done or a CT scan. This is also to tell if the MRI or CT scan can detect small tissues of the endometric tissues that might have grown outside the uterus. The most accurate way of the doctors telling if you actually have endometriosis is surgical, where they use local anesthesia, and a small incision is made, and then they check for sure if you have the endometric tissue. So I'm sure most of you are scared at this point. You're like, I don't want the doctor putting things in my body. Like I'm not ready for surgery and all these things. So if you don't want to go for all this, you need to understand that if today you have a healthy uterus where the endometric tissue is shedding, when the egg is not fertilized and it's in the inside of the uterus, not on the outside areas, it does not mean that tomorrow this endometric tissue cannot move to other regions. If you're between the age of 20, 30, and 40, you could suffer from endometriosis. And you know what happens is that for this pain to actually come, the scientific explanation is that when a woman is going through her period, the estrogen and progesterone levels lower and they tell the body to shed there. endometric tissue in the uterus. The same estrogen and progesterone tells the endometric tissues in other regions, in the bladder, in the rectum, it could even form even in your lungs and other organs. But the reaction to estrogen and progesterone of endometric tissues, regardless of their location, is the same. So what happens is, when a normal endometric tissue in the uterus receives the signal to shed from the ovary through the estrogen and progesterone levels becoming low, it will leave the body through the vagina. But unfortunately for the endometric tissues that are not within the uterus, they will also shed, but they don't have an outlet. Because of lack of an outlet, they will cause some irritation, and this irritation is what will cause you to have pelvic pains, and also is what you also call very, very painful menstrual cramps. You know, when our uterus is shedding its walls, it's usually like it's what it has like contractions. These contractions are what help it shed. So imagine now having those endometric tissues all over. It's like having small uteruses spread in your pelvic region. So even wherever it is, if it's on the blood, it will also be having those cramps, those contractions of trying to push it out, but there's nowhere it's going. So that's why you'll have those very painful, very, very painful cramps where you need your hot water bottle, you need a little pain medication, and for some weird reason, you do not get the pain to go away. It's very normal for a woman to experience cramps like some 2-3 days before her period, or the first 2 days of her period, but it's not normal for a woman to experience pain that is so bad that she feels like her insides are being pulled out, ripped out of her body for 6 to 5 days throughout her period. That's why you need to see a doctor. At the same time, endometriosis, if it's not treated, it could result in infertility, because if the endometric tissue happens to land in the fallopian tube or the forgive me, I'm Kikuyu, the ovaries, what it does is that it makes these organs to form cysts. And these cysts, they become big and they rupture. And when they rupture, they form inflammations, and more of this is become more and more and more. And then this is what will destroy your reproductive system. And when your reproductive system is destroyed at the age of 20, where you don't have a boyfriend, you're in school, you're so far from becoming a mom, then your chances of becoming a mom are ruined. So that's why endometriosis should not be taken lightly. And anyone who finds herself having very painful menstrual cramps should see a doctor. Maybe it might not be endometriosis, it could be a cyst, it could be cervical cancer, it could be fibroids. So to avoid all these things and to ensure that your body is in its healthy condition, it's good to see a doctor and know what is happening in your pelvic region. As they say, make sure each year you get to see a gynecologist at least twice a year. What else can we do as women to protect ourselves from endometriosis, since we already do not know what makes it exactly occur? But change your diet. Cut the sugars and the fats. Increase the fruits and the vegetables. Include some omega-3 into your diet. Those women who are already having children, encourage yourselves and motivate yourself to breastfeed for longer periods of time, because that also helps to reduce the effects of endometriosis, the painful pelvic pain during a woman's menstrual period. And also, if you're in the childbearing age, you've already finished school, you're married and it's time for children, have multiple pregnancies, as multiple pregnancies are also found to reduce the pains caused by endometriosis. And when endometriosis actually ends is when a woman gets to her menopause, it will just disappear by itself. Risk factors associated with endometriosis, why you should take it seriously. 1, it could cause infertility. 2, it could cause genetic mutation. 3, it could cause low birth weight in your children. So it's something you should take seriously, and you should try and find out if you have it. So girls, do not let endometriosis ruin your beautiful 6 days of menstrual period. A woman on her period is a goddess, because This is a period where your body has tired and labored so much and it's supposed to be resting. A period is something a woman should own up to and should be proud of. It's not a time where a woman should dread and should be hoping that it can actually disappear or something. And endometriosis can be treated, you know. It can be treated surgically if it's the endometric tissues are spread out in too many regions. It can be removed surgically, and if the endometric tissue is just in some small, it's in small amounts, you can get oral contraceptives that can help reduce and manage the pain of endometriosis. Darlings, now you know endometriosis is what is ruining you. Period. See a doctor. Let them check you. Let them examine you. Let them help you get through this whole endometriosis mess. And no, you're not alone. Very many out of every 5 women, 3 women will suffer from painful menstrual periods, and most of the time, this painful menstrual period will either be caused by fibroid cysts, cancer, or endometriosis. You're not alone. You're with us. We love you, and we're here to support you through it all. Till next time, this is Elysian. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, and God bless. Ciao. Bye bye.